Deepti Laurent joins me on the set to take a look at what the papers are saying today. Hi, Deepti.
Hi, Jeannie.
You are starting with Emmanuel Macron and Marine Le Pen's second-round electoral campaign, which is already well underway.
That's right. And it's all about pensions today, Jeannie. Pensions. Emmanuel Macron is hoping to seduce new voters to back him in the second round against Marine Le Pen by walking back some of those controversial tenets of his pension reforms, including raising the retirement age to 64 and not 65 as initially proposed, and maybe help appease some of the voter anger that was very obvious in Sunday's first round of elections, even though he did win those elections.
Macron's also working hard to try and court some voters from the far left.
That's right. Those they're really keying up to be really important figures into the second round of voting. It's a left-wing voters who voted for Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who are tired of having to vote for Macron by default, and who are also disappointed by what they see as a very right-wing presidency that Macron has led for the past 5 years. 10 days away from the next round, Macron is sort of only realizing now that these votes could risk shifting the balance in the second round. That's something that Libération, the left-leaning paper, is looking at on its front page. Its headline reads, "Honey, I forgot about the left." It translates better in French, but you get the idea. And Libération also critiquing Macron, saying he's all about promises right now, but he's still not showing us concrete action. Encapsulated really in this cartoon from the Swiss cartoonist Chapat today, Macron earnestly telling voters in this cartoon, quote, "Losers, I have been listening to you."
Now, Macron's opponent, Marine Le Pen, on the far right, is really trying to soften her image and appear more approachable and less extreme.
Well, she seems to have really understood the weight that her family name carries. And in a new campaign poster released on Tuesday for that second round of voting, Marine Le Pen has sought to erase all links to the extremist origins of her party, even taking her name off the campaign poster. You see it there, "Pour tous les Français," for all French people. It's a very presidential image there, a very sober lighting. So she's definitely really changing her image. In fact, in the Huffington Post today, one communications advisor says this is really an ingenious PR move from Le Pen's camp. The slogan, the presidential pose, the far-right leader certainly has gone to great efforts to perfect her public image. L'Humanité, the communist paper, though, is not buying it. They're sounding the alarm on Le Pen's electoral program. The state of law is in jeopardy, the paper says on its front page, and says in desiring to revive the parliamentary institution and the democratic functioning of the country, Le Pen is instead walking all over the right of law and democracy.
Now let's step away from the French presidential election. A lot of focus still obviously on Ukraine, and Ukraine has announced the arrest of Vladimir Putin's closest ally in the country, an oligarch called Viktor Medvedchuk.
That's right. Viktor Medvedchuk is a pro-Kremlin opposition politician in Ukraine. He actually evaded house arrest on treason charges just before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He's now being detained by Ukrainian forces. He was, in fact, President Volodymyr Zelensky posted a picture of Medvedchuk in army fatigues with a Ukrainian flag patch on social media and has suggested that he could be exchanged for Ukrainians being held captive by Russia. The Guardian explains that Vladimir Putin is actually godfather to Medvedchuk's youngest daughter. He was charged last year of selling military secrets to Russia. His $200 million yacht has also been seized in Croatia.
Now, the German president has been snubbed by Ukrainian authorities over his ties to Russia.
And it's all over the German press today, Jeannie. The German tabloid Bild is reporting on this on its front page. Frank-Walter Steinmeier forbidden from meeting Ukrainian officials. That's what the paper says on its front page. He was essentially snubbed by Ukrainian authorities who refused to meet him. Bild quoting a Ukrainian diplomat as saying Steinmeier's close ties to Russia meant he's not welcome in Kyiv at the moment. Steinmeier indeed maintained support for the controversial gas pipeline project Nord Stream 2 that was also defended by many German politicians, even as Russia was preparing to invade Ukraine. Indeed, the Frankfurter Allgemeine, another German paper today, carefully admonishes this decision by Ukraine. It says, with all understanding of what's going on and the desperate situation, declaring Steinmeier an unwanted guest is not a wise decision. I quote, "From this affront, Vladimir Putin will draw hope that the first cracks will form in his opponent's camp."
Just to wrap up now, Dipti, summer is almost here in just a few months, so we can say it's coming. And it seems that there is a new summer trend already.
That's right. It's a far cry from, tank tops and short shorts, Jeannie. If you want to look cool this summer, you'll want the coastal grandma look. Think, easy, laid-back, warm neutrals, linen, baking, cozy interior designs, gardening, kind of like a Diane Keaton or a Meryl Streep look. It's a new aesthetic that's going viral among TikTok users right now. It's called #CoastalGrandmas. It has over 7 million views on TikTok and includes, among all things, a starter pack on being a coastal grandma, movie recommendations, wine rankings, and tips to achieving ultimate coastal granny status.
I'm assuming you don't have to be a grandma to look like a coastal grandma.
No, I think you actually should not be a grandma.
All right, Dipti.
That's a whole deal.
Thank you so much for that, Dipti Kalaran, with that look at today's press review. Don't forget, if you want a closer look at the press review or at any of the stories we're covering for you on France 24, you can always check it out on the website. The address is france24.com.